Hi, this is Reza Kabul of ARK, Reza Kabul Architects Private Limited, and I've been practicing as architect for the past 33 years with offices in Mumbai, Pune and San Francisco. We are a multidisciplinary firm and we work on various projects, architecture, interior designing and master planning. Our team comprises of 100 plus architects and interior designers. It's been 4 months since the lockdown and we've all been confined to our homes. The entire globe has been put on a pause and our movements have been restricted. We are confined. Suddenly home has become the safest place with no traffic and restriction of the human movement. Suddenly the flora and the fauna has started to bloom and the skyline has suddenly you can see it more clearer. There is more oxygen in the air, and because of survival, the new norm became work from home. So as everybody, we also started working from home. Initially when we started working from home, there were a lot of teething problems we had to overcome, but fortunately we could overcome them and we got into the mode of working from home. This pandemic actually, when we started working from home, this pandemic actually made me sit down and think. And when I started thinking, I realized that what we had been doing, we were in the rat race of urbanization. And what we started doing is we started making urban centers and we started crowding these urban centers. We started pulling all the rural population into these urban centers and cramming them over there. And what we did is as the real estate prices started going up in these locations, we started from 300 square feet to a person for a workspace, we started pushing them right down to 30 square feet, 25 square feet per person in a workspace. And it actually became so tight, and it was justifiable because the real estate prices were so high. So we crammed them in, we squeezed them, and we started giving them lesser and lesser spaces. And we started building vertical to accommodate these city centers. I started, as I was just thinking what we had done in the past and what we also had done the same thing. We had the office right down in Bandra, and my team almost some of them means quite a few of them come from Panvel, Virar, which is a couple of hours away. They travel by train. They come to the office half dead. They have lost 2 hours of time, plus they have lost half their energy is gone, traveling in the local trains, sweating. And what happens is they come to office, they are not with full energy, so the efficiency of work is not there. And they work for 8 hours in the office, they go back home. By the time they reach their houses, their kids are almost in bed or they're about to go to bed. So practically leaving them no time for their kids. Their fathers, their kids don't see their parents, the father or the mother, because most of them are working. So this pandemic, when they started working from home, the kids started feeling the parents, they started interacting with the parents. So I feel it has given a rise to a lot of good things. In doing so, what happened is the team started working from home. They started getting used to the working from home, and now I feel they're liking them. They're liking this, and we too are liking it because we are getting more efficiency, and there is a flexibility for them to work. We just give them X amount of work and they work and they submitted it online. They do not have to travel so much. When they don't travel, we are saving the environment. And you see, there is a lot of benefits to this thing. The kids are happy, the male member or the working member is happy, and our work is done. So we got into this mode and now we are liking it. Moving forward, my recommendation to the developers, and I think all the new developments that we're going to be doing, I'm going to insist, and I've already started talking to a lot of my clients, developers, that we should have a home office kind of a concept, because what happens is when the apartments are not too big and when you want to conduct a video conferencing, so there's a lot of disturbance that takes place, and the kids are not happy because the meeting is going on. They have to keep quiet, they're not at ease. The working member who's on the meeting is always conscious that there's this thing and there's noise coming into the meeting, so it disturbs people. So I would suggest that each and every apartment should have a home office kind of a arrangement, but the apartments are small, so I do not think each of the apartments can be having that. So the smaller apartments, I would recommend that the developers, we do a kind of shared workspaces in the apartment complex itself or the township, whatever we do, where I could go, or the working member could go down and conduct his meeting without being disturbed, nor the family being disturbed, nor the working member being disturbed, and he can conduct his business, he can conduct his meetings. And the other benefit is that he doesn't travel. By not traveling, the best thing is that you are not using fossil fuel, you are not using any of the natural resources, and you have a lot of time for yourself. So you can do a lot of other things, like you can do gymming, you can do something with the family, you can go outing with the family, and you get more quality life than just traveling and moving from one spot to other spot to do work. The other aspect that I would say has come out of this lockdown is that a lot of our clients would not accept video conferencing. We got video conferencing facilities in the office maybe about 5 years ago, and we used to use them for our overseas clients, but the Indian clients, the local clients, were not getting used to that fact of video conferencing. They wanted you in person and drawings and hard copies. This has brought about a change, and people have started accepting the video conferencing. Earlier we used to travel from maybe my office in Bangalore right up to Kalyan for a meeting. We traveled for 2.5 hours, and we land up there for a meeting of 1 hour, 1.5 hour. And the other thing was, it was not me alone, it was my other consultants coming from different directions. They traveled for 2 hours and we traveled for 2 hours. The amount of fossil fuel that we wasted, the time that we spent on travel, all that was just waste. I mean, I kept on telling my clients, but nobody had actually accepted that fact. I think this lockdown has really actually brought the clients also to start thinking that we do not need to travel. They do not need to travel, because we used to go to the office or the site of the client, and then we put the drawings on the computer and show it to him on screen, where now we are sitting in our office and we are doing it from our office on his screen. So I think that's the other good point about I mean, when you look at all these things, I think there are some things that the government also should do to rebuild the confidence, rebuild the lifestyle of the country, the people. We got confined to our apartments, the four walls, and the homesick syndrome came in because 4 months I have locked down, and we as the spaces got more and more smaller, the balcony, which was the open space, which was the breathing space for the apartment, is totally out. And when that is out, what has happened is people do not have any space to just move out. You're just within your four walls, you're confined to, and you're looking at each other. So I would recommend and say that the government should insist that you have to do balcony. Maybe if they have to give them some extra area to make a balcony, they have to do that, and they have to insist that they do a balcony, they do a terrace. Otherwise, maybe do a terrace in such a way that it cannot be enclosed, and if anybody encloses, they find them in such a way that you have to keep it open. So that is another aspect that is to be considered while we're doing planning. Another very important that has given the lockdown has given rise to, or the COVID situation has given rise to, is you have to distance out apartments. Normally what happens is we try to squeeze in 4 apartments or 5 apartments on a floor, and they are so much squeezed. The whole lobby, the typical lobby, is so squeezed that you do not have enough space between 2 doors. So when you open one door, the next door is just immediately out there. Maybe if you ring a bell, the bells are so close to each other, sometimes you make a mistake and you ring the next door bell. So I would say that we should have more distance between 2 doors, make larger lobbies on the floor. So if there is a case of something like what's happening today, is if there's a case detected of COVID, it becomes a real challenge to seal off an apartment and the next door apartment is there, or the virus to travel between 2 apartments is so easy because of the proximity of the doors. I would say we should look at this very seriously and space out our apartments, space out the 2 doors, give it nice ventilation to come in, nice sunlight to come in. This is another very important phenomena, and we should consider that. The other thing is, I would say, is, every time it's not possible for home office or work from home. So I would say that going forward, as master planners, as designers, our future townships and cities should have it should be a mixed use kind of a development where there is housing, there is commercial spaces, there is shopping, and you do not have to travel too much just because you have to, so that when you have everything within the proximity, so like we've been confined within the 2-kilometer radius, and they've confined it because they do not want the virus to be transmitted. So with the mixed use kind of a development, you would not have to travel that much, and you could just be confined within your area, and you should have good social interaction spaces. You should have nice breathing spaces where you can just go out, refresh, and interact with people. That's what I'm saying we should be doing. By doing all this, I would say is that we would be cutting down on the traffic. We would be cutting down on unnecessary people traveling for work, or unless it's maybe you need to go to the head office once in a way. You keep a time where you're not going during the peak hours. So you're cutting down on traffic. You're going to free out a lot of the road, the roads. You're going to have You need not just keep on increasing the road sizes. And when the traffic cuts down, you could be having nice pedestrian areas. You could be having nice high street shopping, because you could just shut down a lot of these streets, and you could have shopping. You would just cut off the vehicles from there, and you could have vehicular free pedestrian zones, and you could have cycle or biking paths, so you can travel, because your complexes would be a mixed use kind of a complex, so you do not have to travel that much. Don't use too much of public transport, you don't use too much of fossil fuel. And because I think sustainability is the mantra, and we have to look at sustainability. We have to look at like self-sufficient kind of a, where you do not travel too much to get your goods, or do not travel too much to work. You have to make smaller urban centers, and cut out the travel time and cut out the energy that we just keep on using for traveling. I think that would be the future, and that should be the future. Thank you very much.